Hello and welcome to take 4 of the Honest Trailer commentaries for Gotti. We've been having a little trouble with the equipment, but we'll try to keep it fresh and have the conversation we just had again for you. I'm Spencer J. Gilbert. That's Lon Harris. He's filling in for Joe Starr, who's out this week and helped write the Honest Trailer for Gotti. Thank you, sir. Oh, I'm right in here.
Hey!
And Dan, the Trout Murrell,
yes,
as always.
Hello. The air conditioning is off. We did 99% of this already.
Let's keep it fresh,
Let's
okay?
keep it fresh.
All right.
So the circumstances under which the real film Gotti was also made. Yeah.
This will be very rushed and haphazard, just like the film Gotti. Guys, one more time, what do we think of Gotti?
The only honest trailer we've done for a film that I was in a Twitter feud with.
You were with the
That's true.
official
With
account.
the official Gotti account.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, this movie is there. A lot of movies that get honest trailers are like they're not well made, and this certainly falls under that category. But this is also it's reprehensible. This movie, it's a despicable movie.
It is rotten to the core. It has no redeeming value in craft or message,
Right.
except to say, here's a bad guy, and this is what happened to him.
And wasn't he great, folks? Don't you love him?
You're right, I'm sorry. The movie says, look at this awesome guy. Here he is doing horrible things. Don't we love him?
Don't we love him? Yeah. I mean, this could have been two different movies. This could have been an inside look at the fall of the mafia and this particular family through the eyes of Gotti, who was in a very unique standpoint. Or this could have been the people's Don, why this man who did some very committed murder. This movie shows him committing murder. It's not like, oh, maybe it did something. No, he shows him committing multiple murders. Why this man was so revered and held up by the community.
Right.
This movie is neither of those.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's nothing.
Here's a thought: is that good mob movies, like Goodfellas, which they obviously stole, and then and The Godfather, and even analyze this.
Sure.
There's an outsider who's brought into the mob, and you're seeing it through his eyes. You're seeing an introduction to this world, this secretive underworld.
Yeah, Henry Hill, Michael Corleone.
Yeah. Gotti just assumes
Billy Crystal.
Gotti assumes
Crystal
you've been hanging out with Gotti for your entire life, or are so up to date on Gottiisms that you know every lieutenant from every capo from every mob boss.
It's a movie written for people that already love Gotti and know his story and don't need to be primed or caught up on anything and really are just there to have a good time and see a story that they already know played out.
It's like a mid-season Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah, well, that's
the way they're just throwing names and alliances and
It's
stuff.
remarkable. It doesn't seem to have been organized in any real way for any kind of coherent, like, it's not linear, but usually when movies are not in chronological order, there is some kind of order to the way they've been put together. It's the rise and fall, or you're going to see, this background, and then you're going to jump ahead, and then you're going to see what happened in the interim, or there's some thought put into it. This really feels like staccato, just scenes and moments from a life jumbled together.
Perhaps
I like
the
to think
two framing devices have something to do
Yeah,
with
the 3 frame device.
Yeah.
I like to think if so whoever's in Kevin Connolly, from Entourage, whoever's in whoever the turtle of his entourage is, had to get him the script, and it was in order. The pages were in order, but then he saw a girl or had to vape or something, and then the script, all the pages flew up, and then he's like, "Oh, help me put it back together." And then Kevin Connolly loved it, and that's how the movie became.
And then some pages like pasta sauce or coffee stains on it. They couldn't read it. Just throw that one away. Jump to the next line you can read.
This film could have been, in its exact form, script, scenes, everything, a season of Entourage.
Yes.
Vinny Chase could have starred in this exact movie, not changed a word, except you swap out Travolta for Vinny Chase. He's in the old age makeup.
Yeah.
This could have been the movie that was made for fake on a season of Entourage.
And like how, you sort of, after watching those episodes, I have a general sense for, what Vinny Chase's Medellin movie was like, even though it's not put together in any logical order. That's what this is like.
It's like the fake scenes from an Entourage movie put together and presented as a film.
I feel like Threat Level Midnight on The Office has more narrative flow.
Yeah, the McBain movies in The Simpsons has more of an arc. I was gonna say we use this, or I already said, then we deleted it. We use this joke on Solo, but like this is an adaptation of John Gotti's Wikipedia page.
Yeah, it's his Gottipedia page.
Yeah, this is just literally a description of things that happened with no context or arc or
no context.
Or depth to it.
So many scenes open and close with characters talking about things we have no context for. Like the one that I remember right now is like, hey, you know, he wants those apartments over on 59th Street. Like, I don't even know what that means. He wants to own them. He wants to buy them. He wants to use them.
You're a top earner. At what?
Yeah, like,
there's a scene where there's a guy who tells John Gotti's son a story about John Gotti that doesn't really resolve itself. And
mind you, this is in a John Gotti flashback.
This is inside of a John Gotti flashback. So I guess he's telling his son. His ghost is remembering the time he told his son about a guy who told his son a story
about him.
And then it cuts from that story, which doesn't really resolve itself, to a courtroom, to the end of a trial that we don't know the context of.
Nope.
We don't see the arrest of. We don't know that he's on trial or for what or why. But it's like, I was acquitted. Like, of what?
We're supposed to be excited just because he got away with something.
The fifth level of the Inception there is that it flashes back to the courtroom, which is a flashback of an associate of John Gotti Jr., which is a flashback of Gotti talking to Gotti Jr., which is a flashback of Ghost Gotti. But then that flashback is ostensibly John Gotti Jr.'s friend telling him about the court trial that his dad had, right?
I think it literally just cuts.
Well, no, it's like, did I ever tell you about something about your father? Like, it's in the trailer, and it cuts from that to the courtroom, and he's in the courtroom, the guy telling the story.
Oh, I don't actually think I made that connection.
I don't think I did either.
Oh, no, that's the same guy.
I think that was the next.
And then
I just thought that was the next scene.
Inside of his flashback, John Gotti's voiceover is in it. So is John Gotti.
Wait, is that guy gas pipe Casso?
No, that's no, and it's not the chin either.
Yeah.
It's not
the
it's
chin.
definitely not the
I
chin.
think they show him being like walked around like Junior Soprano, but I guess he's faking some sort of illness for some reason.
Chin as an old man, there's two guys and they don't even show you which one is the chin. The name comes up between them, so you can't even tell. But yeah, there's a man leading around another old man. It's the only shot of him in the movie, and he's a main
He's the
character.
boss. Yeah.
He's the boss.
But no, isn't there a scene where he comes in from outside? He's like, "So anyway, I want to talk to you about this."
Oh,
like, wait, so he's faking it? Yeah, I think so.
Yes, there is definitely the implication that the chin is not as feeble as he's been made to look.
God.
Like Maester Pycelle in Game of Thrones.
Oh, Gotti.
Oh, Gotti.
Okay.
Gotti.
All right, let's watch Gotti.
Let's get Gotti.
Let's get Gotti. Get Gotti. Gotti.
Got him.
From a company limping towards bankruptcy, the studio behind 6 Bruce Willis movies in the last 4 years, Stan Lee's former business partner, who he has a restraining order against, the guy in the Paris
totally separate joke,
and E from Entourage, comes a film that isn't the Godfather movie we need, but the Godfather movie we deserve right now.
Still love
12 years old. He didn't have hair on his prick.
That's got to be the worst line ever written.
Maybe the worst line in the movie.
Welcome to New York.
Well, you don't have hair on your prick.
No, let's not even analyze that.
His life story.
Let me tell you something.
About the time he told his son his life story.
Remember what I used to tell
Let's
you
just say it's a
guys.
weird way to remember your dead son.
If you have a lot of hair on
No,
your
Lon, we're not
It's
going
kind
to
of like John Gotti Inception, except the person who's dreaming fell asleep watching Goodfellas.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? You open up the books. Opened up the books.
What the f is so funny about me?
What the f is so f***ing funny?
The fight at a bar on Christmas is like, really? Had to be Christmas?
Even that, I'll let this play.
There was good fellas, there was non-good fellas.
All right, pause. Even the fight in the bar is setting. You would think it's setting something. It's his son and his friend, and they get into a bar.
Yeah.
And they talk about some stuff, and then a guy says something. He's like, "Oh, you're too good to drink with me." Blah, blah, blah. And then they get into a fight. And then they run away, and the cops come. And then John Gotti comes in, and he slaps his son around. He's like, what's the matter with you?
Because one of the guys they were fighting got killed.
And then the guy's like, don't you know somebody died? Yeah. It's like, be smarter. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That ties into nothing.
Never
it
comes
has
back.
no. That's not called back. It's literally, again, it's a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
It has no connective tissue to
even
anything.
the son dying, which by the way,
It's very tragic.
Well, it's tragic. It's tragic comic.
Frankie.
In real life, it's tragic, but in this movie, it's kind of silly because they cut. I counted. They do a full cut from him on the bike. He's driving his bike. He got hit by a car. They cut from him to the car and then back 6 times.
Yeah, and
I counted. It goes kid, car, kid, 1, car, kid, car, kid, car, kid, car, kid, car, kid, car, and then it finally hits. I wonder what's gonna happen in this scene.
That's what I mean. Like, it's like if you asked Kevin Connolly why, like, what was the goal? I feel like he wouldn't have a good answer. Like, I feel like a lot of this was just done to, like, this is how a movie is done.
Gotti is completely unaffected by it. He bites his hand.
He bites his hand.
And
then he yells at his wife for being depressed.
Yeah.
But, like, what is that?
Dan, what are you doing on your? What are you doing on your phone
over here? I'm looking for
over
the thing that I found that I had already pulled up about that billboard. That I thought was funny, and I found it now. But I was looking for the thing.
Have some respect for the commentary.
I did. We did this whole thing once before. I can't remember what I said. What I didn't say.
It's going much better this time.
I'm listening.
Trust me.
I'll show you the billboard.
This time
later.
we're nailing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Keep going.
A soulless mob purgatory that fails to meet even the baseline requirements of storytelling. But hey, forget about it. Because who needs a clear hero, a message, any insight into how the mob really worked, or a coherent plot, when you've got accents that would make my cousin Vinny blush?
Cool, clear water.
It is on the cover of the paper.
Me or them?
They're killing us. That's not
To the bar.
So they clearly just didn't have an accent coach or anything. Like, everybody just did their own thing. And nobody was like, hey, try that line again.
The
It didn't
musical
sound right.
stylings of Pitbull?
They had a Pitbull album and a copy of
rapid-fire parade of generic mobster names throughout
There's a lot of
the entire
moments in the
film.
movie where it's like, normally this is what a director would do. They'd be like, you know what, maybe don't bite your fist here. Like, it's something small.
Bananas, Willie Boy.
Bobby Borriello. Vincent Gotti.
Man, this movie's got more names than Pauly 10 names Del Vecchio. You know him, right?
Good time.
He's friends with Joey the Trout and Swamp-Ass Bacalari.
Swamp-Ass Bacalari. Cacciatore Brothers place.
So who?
Bobby Bacalari is from The
professional
Sopranos.
critics
That's
behind the hidden keyboards
Tony's
who gave it a combined
heavyset,
0% on Rotten Tomatoes, or all the real fans who signed up for a Rotten Tomatoes account the month the movie came out. Only left reviews for the two films produced by
This is
Movie
true.
Pass,
I
and
spent
never
a lot of
posted
time
again.
confirming this.
So many other videos on this.
Out of here. Starring, it's me, Gottio, young John Gotti Jr., old John Gotti Jr.
They didn't
I
even
could
try.
watch
Like,
They really
I
did
think
not.
they put a gray streak
I
in his
got
hair,
you,
like.
Spade. The menu at an Olive Garden.
I could watch a Keats for hours.
Need to use the tuna
Call back to Face Off.
Spaghetti, meatballs, or
It's
something.
got the shrimp in there, mingy like this. All I want is a sandwich. You see the sandwich? It's just tuna sandwich.
This guy think he's got infinite breadsticks over here.
best
Endless
part
pasta.
is
Oh,
that
hey,
they
yo,
never said-
I would love to see Nicolas Cage play Gotti. That's a movie.
What?
Park a bus in your ass sideways.
You're never gonna see only if you have the support of all 5 boroughs. Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan,
Why? As a
Staten Island,
lifelong New York
the
resident.
Bronx.
Lifetime New Yorker.
Why would
That's what I
one
was saying.
New York lobster
I wonder
remind
how
another
many
New York
boroughs you could
lobster
get
with
through
the 5
before
boroughs in
an
New York
actual
are?
New Yorker would
Unless
just
you thought you
hit
could steal from
you.
another Scorsese movie without us noticing.
Brentwood, Santa Monica, West Hollywood, Hollywood, Silver Lake, the Valley.
You put them together, it's a large hand.
Before I can already hear the yelling in the comments. Yes, we are talking over the trailer. We did a 45-minute commentary before this one.
Lost of
it's
time.
87 degrees in the studio.
The video crashed.
And JTE literally said, welcome back, by the way, JTE.
Yes.
Try to keep this under 20 or we're going to lose this one too and have to start all over again. So this is why you watch, you know us, you know we don't talk over the thing. And we got to do the thing.
You don't like this commentary? We're gonna park a bus up your ass sideways.
I think Gotti is getting the commentary it deserves.
It is.
Let's play the deleted scenes again.
Yes.
You better play them deleted
Who, if this
scenes.
movie is to
Don't
be
talk over
believed,
this potluck.
sucked at crime,
Ours ID'd by the barmaid.
sucked at gambling,
You wouldn't believe how much I lost last week.
kept getting busted,
Indicted today for the 4th time in 5 years.
repeatedly threatened his wife,
Talk to that cop or any cop, I'll kill you.
and ran his mafia family into the ground.
I didn't follow my own advice.
But he helped an old lady with her groceries once, so I guess he's the hero of the story?
Louie, go help her.
Come on, how do you steal everything from Goodfellas except the moral? Did the Entourage guy direct this in character?
Oh, okay. That's it. You're trying to tell me that turtle can get laid quicker than I can?
Starring
It really is the worst.
Phony Soprano, Fat Tony, hey, I'm Gotti here, The Situation, AJ, Fredo Gotti. This is what happens when you take roles off Craigslist. Growing Up Goofy,
I felt inspired.
Kelly Preston, Doc.
Cozy Perez, and John Travolta in old age makeup playing a man
Joe
who's 3 years younger than he
Lobbied
is.
so hard.
Entourage.
It almost
I
made
can't believe it's not Goodfellas.
Which one did Joe?
Jersey
John
Boys.
Travolta being in makeup.
Oh yeah.
The Unfilmables.
Yeah, that's a lot of puns.
Yeah. I was trying to think of another example of an actor playing a character who's younger than they are and wearing
horrible old
age makeup. I can't think of one.
That's maybe my favorite monologue of the years when when John Gotti or Travolta in the old makeup goes like, "They took everything from me. They took my tit. They took my liver. They took my chin. They took my heart. But they'll never take my brain or my heart. Anyways, what's up?" And there's multiple times where he's got, because nobody else matters in this movie. Right. No one else has any kind of arc or any kind of screen time to matter. So multiple times he has this huge monologue, and because there's no other characters in the movie, then it goes like, all right, so what are we doing?
All right, so anyway,
the other thing you don't realize when you first see it, because that scene's at the beginning of the movie, it's like the framing device. When you get to the end of the movie, you realize he hasn't seen his son in years. They've both been in prison. He knows this is probably the last time he's going to get to see his son. And so, yeah, then you think back and you're like, it's so casual. It's like, hey, how you doing?
You ever tell you about the time?
Yeah, it's like they're meeting up for some random meeting, and then at the end you're like, oh, it's the last time you ever to see your son?
Right.
Like, it doesn't seem emotional at all.
Are there anything? Do you want to mention the Goldfinger thing? Anything we want to loop back from last time?
Let's see some key bits. We definitely fleshed out the season of Entourage. We give you a whole season of Entourage.
A whole season of Entourage
that you'll never see.
Fievel was the producer. The voice of Fievel.
There is a scene where we saw a little bit of it in the trailer, where they're all at a table, and when you come in, and this is a lot of scenes of Gotti, where you come in and they're having a conversation that has nothing to do with what's happening in the movie.
We assume because they thought they'd overdub it later with voiceover.
And in that one scene, they are talking about, John Gotti is describing to his capos the plot of the movie Goldfinger, even though it would have come out like 20 years
ago, and they're all laughing. It's like, he says his name's Pussy Galore. He says, am I dreaming? Yeah, that movie. It's a 20-year-old movie.
Great movie, boss. You know, like it's that kind of thing. It's like, wouldn't we talk about License to Kill by now?
Yeah, or, did he not go see, I don't know, Poltergeist?
The Living Daylights?
Or something?
That would be really weird if he was describing Poltergeist, like Back to the Future or something.
And he says, there he is. Wait, Craig.
And these guys come
scariest fucking tree I ever seen.
These guys come in, they got nuclear packs, and they're like, hey, we're the freaking Ghostbusters over here.
What? Whatever.
I want to see a whole movie that's just Travolta as John Gotti summarizing his favorite 80s movies.
I would definitely watch that of him in front of a rack of DVDs.
He's like, this kid, he's being tormented by these bullies. He's like, he's got to sweep the leg or something.
Force Awakens, some kind of Mary Sue.
I did want to loop back to Emmett Furla films.
Yes.
They're the ones that made all the Bruce Willis movies.
Right, that I watched 10 of them.
Yes, Lon watched 10 of them, and I was, in a previous life, a logger/transcriber for a reality pilot starring one of the two guys that runs that thing that didn't get picked up. So I've watched hours and hours of footage of him, but I found this picture, so I was on my phone. I don't know if we can get any closer on to JT, but they took out a huge billboard over Wilshire Boulevard here in Beverly Hills that says, I don't think you can see it.
Oh wow.
Hang on. Try to.
Can we zoom?
It's there we go. It says that they are the leading independent production company.
On the billboard.
This is a huge billboard towering over Wilshire Boulevard.
No.
That's the level of detail you'd expect from the makers of Gotti.
They are a large projection company.
When you see their movies, this makes total sense.
But they've made some good movies.
They have.
A few. They've produced a few good movies.
Batting average is
I feel like they're co-financing movies that professional people are making. And that's what's happening when they're involved in a good movie.
Yeah.
Yes. So, anyway.
So, if this seemed rushed and sloppy and a little below our usual standard, then...
it was only because it was the Gotti.
It was only because
the honest trailer commentary that was lost was our Goodfellas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was our Gotti.
This is our pale imitation.
Poorly constructed, sloppy, hard to hear.
We'd all just rather go home.
Really obligatory more than anything.
One thing I will add is that Pitbull, a very famous Italian-American from New York.
Yeah,
so thank goodness they had him work on this, because it's so appropriate.
So anyways, tune in next week. I'm glad we made it through this one. If it freezes in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to shoot myself.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Next week we have a very special one that you've all been waiting for a really long time. So we're very excited to bring you that.
At least one.
At least one, perhaps two. Could be a paradox. Who knows?
Oh God.
And
adjust reverse the polarity.
Reverse the polarity on our TriCaster.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Goodbye.
Get out of here!